Hi, welcome to Simply Country Cuisine. I have a treat for you today. My husband, Mark, works with a gentleman, Steve. They work for a concrete company, and he had asked Mark if I had ever cooked kingfish or king mackerel. Well, personally, I had never even heard of it. I did my research, and it's kind of like a tuna, mahi. So I said, well, I'll give it a try. Now, again, Dina is not a seafood fan, so I'm sure there's going to be a lot of distance between she and I. But I wanted to show you, Steve and Freida had caught around, they had gone on a sea cruise, a deep sea cruise around Port Aransas, and they'd caught about 65 pounds of this kingfish, of this king mackerel. And there's their catch. And this is what it looks like after it has been filleted and packaged up. And he gave us a couple pounds of the king mackerel. Well, what I'm going to do with it is I'm going to make a king mackerel roasted in butter, served with a delicious, and I will say this wrong, Provencale sauce. After preparing this sauce, I realized we Texans, this is a French form of pico de gallo. Now I'm going to start with the fish. Now I have placed it on a baking pan, baking sheet covered with foil, and I put a little olive oil on it. I'm not too sure how much this is going to stick, but I'm going to cover up the rice here. We're going to have, okay, and now we are going to make a butter sauce to go over the fish. And I'll have the recipe in the comments, but it consists of butter, paprika, parsley, a little lemon zest, and juice with salt and pepper. And I have softened 4 tablespoons of butter, and I'm going to mash it up in here and give it a stir up. And now I'm going to add a teaspoon of paprika, and I'm using smoky paprika. I think it has a little bit more pungent taste to it. And the fish looks dark to me, so I'm not sure how strong the flavor really is. But we've got the paprika in it. I'm going to chop up about a tablespoon, a tablespoon of chopped parsley. And I wanted to use fresh parsley in this. I'm going to give it a rough chop. And add this to our butter. And it says lemon or lime juice. I thought, I kind of like lime with seafood, so I went ahead and I zested the I zested a lime, and I went down to the pith. I didn't want to go to the white part, but I have the zest of 1 lime, and I'm going to, and that's a teaspoon, and I am going to put a teaspoon of the lime juice in. And that'll probably be the whole lime. Because remember, we discussed this before, limes have a tendency to be a little bit drier than the lemons. And I'm going to mix this up. And then add a little salt and pepper to taste. A little bit of salt, a little bit of black pepper. And now I'm going to put it on the fish. So I'm going to use my hands and just coat it really, really good. Now I'm not going to use this sauce on anything else, so I can touch it with my hands. And it says on the recipe, both sides of the fish. Okay, now we've buttered our fish with our seasoned butter. We're going to put it in the oven for 25 to 30 minutes, and it says to cook it till it's opaque. So I'll just keep an eye on it. I'm set the timer, and while we do that, we're going to make the Provencale sauce, or again the French form of pico de gallo. All right, now we're going to make the Provencale. I'm going to tell you, you guys can call me or whatever to correct that. I cannot get that word out. But that takes 2 tablespoons of olive oil, butter, 3 cloves of minced garlic, chili flakes, a half a teaspoon of fresh thyme, the zest of a lemon or lime. Again, I'm going to use the lime. 4 small Roma tomatoes, seeded and chopped. 1 teaspoon of anchovy paste, 2 tablespoons of capers, rinsed and drained, 1 tablespoon of red wine vinegar, 1/4 of a cup of pitted chopped calamatas, a little bit of sugar just to take the acidity of the tomatoes off, and 2 tablespoons of chopped parsley. Now, I have started the tomatoes. I wanted to show you. I'm using Roma tomatoes, and an easy way to seed them is to take a grapefruit spoon, put it in your tomato because it has a little bit of a rigid edge. Kind of digs it out, and it really cleans your tomato out, and then you can scrape the seeds out. The seeds and the they want you to, I know they want you to take it out because it makes your dish runny. It makes it watery. This keeps it from being so watery. And then just dice it up. Okay, we're going to use our medium-sized enameled skillet, and I've got it on medium-high, on about a number 6. I'm going to let it get a little bit hot, and I'm going to put the butter and the oil in, and add the rest of the ingredients in here. We're adding 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and that's actually, a tablespoon is usually once around the pan, or twice around the pan, so that was once. And that's twice, and that's 2 tablespoons. Okay, now I've added my 1 tablespoon of butter. I've minced up 3 cloves of garlic. We'll turn it down just a little. If you cook with just butter, it'll burn. You really do need the olive oil in there. I'm going to add 1/4 of a teaspoon of chili flakes. I'm adding 1/2 a teaspoon of freshly chopped thyme. Ooh, that's popping. I'm going to add the zest of another lime. Now I saved this lime out to show you. If you just swipe it over till you get to the white part, the pithy part, that's bitter. You don't want to use that. So you just want to use the rind. There's so many wonderful oils in the zest of a orange or lemon or lime, and it really enhances your flavors of your foods. Even if you're making salad dressing, I will add a little bit of the zest. It makes it a little bit more potent. Now, let's saute this for a couple minutes till we can really smell it. We want it to become very fragrant. And I can smell that lime and the thyme. Ooh, that smells really good. I'm going to add my tomatoes, anchovy paste, capers, and the olives. So we'll start with the tomatoes. I'm using Reese anchovy paste. I really truly don't know of any other kind. I'm not an anchovy paste kind of person, so I do know that I have made Caesar salad and I've added it to it, but we're going to add a teaspoon of that. I think I'll let that melt in there a little bit. That smells so good. Now I'm adding 1/4 of a cup of sliced Greek Kalamata olives. That smells really good. I'm going to just put a pinch of sugar in it, just to take the acidity of the tomatoes off. And about 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt, kosher salt, and about 1/4 of a teaspoon of black pepper. And there we have it. Now I'm going to turn this off, and when the fish is done, then we're going to plate it up and put this over top of it, because it's done. All right, I'm going to pull it out of the oven now. It's finished cooking. It browned up nice, and I'm pretty sure that's the butter sauce. And what we're going to do is we're going to put it on a platter and tint it for a second or two. Okay, and then it says to just put a tint foil over the top for just a couple minutes. Okay, it has set for 2 or 3 minutes. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add our Provencale, or our French pico de gallo. We will just cover each piece. And I thought it would look kind of pretty if we placed a few lime wedges on the sides. And then just take a couple sprigs of parsley, and there we have it. Hi, welcome back. Well, we have our king mackerel with our butter and Provencale sauce on it, a little bit of buttered rice and broccoli. I thought broccoli rabe would have been a good addition to this too, that we could have layered it over top of it, but I didn't see that in the grocery store this morning, so. All right, here we go. Piece of fish with a little bit of the sauce on it. Actually, that is real good. Thank you, Steve and Freida. It's a nice, hearty, strong fish. Not strong tasting, but a nice, strong fish. Kind of has a little bit of a tuna taste. And the sauce really, I think the sauce really enhances it. A little bit of buttered rice with that. Okay, well, thank you again. I really appreciate you sitting that with Mark, and it was kind of fun. I'm going to be honest. It was a little daunting at first. I wasn't sure how we were going to do this, but I'm kind of excited we did, because now I can mark that off on my check. I can say, yes, have I ever done king mackerel? I sure have. Well, I wanted to share my devotion with you this week. In our church this week, we've been talking about allowing our lives to mimic and mirror through Jesus Christ, being a servant. And one of the devotions this week, it was talking about Martin Luther. And he was the head of Reformation. He exclaimed that the church must be profane. The Latin root word of profane is profanus, meaning outside the temple. So we are to take Christ outside of the church, to our workplace, to our schools, to our playtime, in HEB, at the bank. We are talking about presenting Christ through our witness and our actions. At church this month, our devotions have been on serving God, and Jesus came to seek and save the lost. He commanded us to do the same. So what can you do to obey that commandment? What are you doing in your daily life that shows Christ through you, through your hands, through your love, through just listening? Luke 19:10, for the Son of Man has come to seek and to save that which is lost. So let's not forget, we are his tools. If you don't have a place to worship, please join us at GT Leander, Texas, Assemblies of God, the church on the hill across from the post office. We would love to have you come and sit under leadership there. And please subscribe and like each video. And when you subscribe, it alerts your phone or your computer that the next video is available. Thank you so much, and looking forward to our next time together. Have a great week.